Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name's Chad, your host. I'm excited to be here today, launching Powered by Bitcoin. Yes, you guessed it, I'm going to talk Bitcoin with you. Lots to talk about with Bitcoin, a lot going on in the Bitcoin space, besides just Bitcoin price, all kinds of stuff going on. And many of you just don't understand what Bitcoin is, how it works, you're afraid of it, and you don't know the real importance of owning Bitcoin. So we're going to talk about it on this channel. I'm going to keep it simple and understand what Bitcoin is. But first, I must address the crypto winter and crypto crap storm upon us right now. Amazing. A lot going on this year in 2022. A lot of shenanigans, and it all gives Bitcoin a bad name, guilt by association. We'll talk about it. First, the collapse of FTX is huge. That is not Bitcoin. That's an individual and his buddies. They stole billions. FTX's exchange, people had their Bitcoin on the exchange, and that's unfortunate. And on this channel, we teach practicing safe Bitcoin. Practicing safe Bitcoin, we take our Bitcoins off the exchanges and put them in a hardware cold storage wallet. I'll explain how to do that in future videos. It's easy, but it might be intimidating, but we'll get into it other time. So we practice safe Bitcoin, then we won't have that problem of people stealing the Bitcoin. Another issue, it's tarnishing Bitcoin, is the 20,000 altcoins out there. There's 20,000 altcoins. Those 20,000 altcoins, they're scams, they're Ponzi schemes, and they're out to steal your money. Big difference between altcoins and Bitcoin. Altcoins, they have controlling interests, CEOs, their foundations, they have venture capitalists, they have money behind them, and they just go kapoof. And we'll talk about it, how they disappear, take people's money. Those are altcoins. Bitcoin, on the other hand, Bitcoin's amazing, amazing technology. There is no controlling legal authority on Bitcoin. No CEO, no one could shut it down. Bitcoin is considered a commodity by the US government. So those are the difference between Bitcoin and altcoins. And altcoins, I look at them as unregulated securities, and maybe they'll get regulated in the future and help bring some calmness to the crazy crypto world. We'll see. So I'm here to show you what I see with Bitcoin. I'm going to wipe the crap off of Bitcoin that's been slung all over it. I'm going to polish the tarnish off and show you what I see with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a beacon of truth and hope. Truth, Bitcoin is uncorruptible. Simple as that. You can't corrupt it. People try to manipulate the price. People might try to steal your tokens, your Bitcoins. There's all that going on. But Bitcoin itself is uncorruptible. And if you practice safe Bitcoin, you're going to be fine. The hope. The hope is incredible. Around the world, everybody will have the opportunity. Everybody has the opportunity who has a smart device or get connected to the internet. They have opportunity to plug into the network and start to save their wealth, start to save their energy. That's what Bitcoin is, energy. In future videos, we'll talk about the energy. It's amazing. Energy. That's what Bitcoin is, energy. You transfer that energy and turn it into money. So the whole world has the opportunity to plug into the network. Right now, a lot of the world is in banking systems, central banks and governments, and we see how that's working. They're printing money like it's crazy. They're spending money like it's not their money to spend. They just spend it. They spend and print. And you see our national debt way up. It's getting uncontrollable. It's uncontrollable. And they just keep printing more. They're not even going to be able to maintain the interest on the national debt. So we look at the traditional financial system as they're vampires sucking the energy out of us. And now we have an option. We have Bitcoin to put our energy in there. Again, the flip side, Bitcoin's volatile. We're going to get through that if we have a longer time horizon and just patience. So that's how I see Bitcoin as hope for the world. It could change the world. Bitcoin is peace. Our dollar system and money around the world, our dollar is backed up by the U.S. military. It's not backed up by gold. It's not backed up by oil anymore. It's not backed up. It's backed up by the U.S. military. And that's just the way things are. And I myself, I want to try to diversify and get away from that and embrace Bitcoin. So let me give you a quick outline of the channel. Again, I want to keep it simple. We're going to talk price action. There's a lot of, the price is volatile. Bitcoin is young. Bitcoin is 13 years old. Bitcoin turns 14 next month, January. But as any teenager, teenagers are erratic, unpredictable, and they're growing and maturing. That's what Bitcoin is, growing and maturing. We're going to talk news. There's all kinds of news. Just aside the fact of the price of Bitcoin, the Bitcoin ecosystem is bringing in billions of dollars in investment. You'll have publicly traded companies that are mining companies. They just buy computers and they mine the Bitcoin. The publicly traded companies are taking on the Bitcoin standard as their treasury. We'll talk about that. And we have countries adopting Bitcoin as legal tender. So it is starting to take place, and it's a threat to the globalists and world banks. They don't like any of it. But you can't stop it. You know, you try to stop Bitcoin, you whack it, it's like a whack-a-mole. The miners, the nodes, they'll pop up elsewhere, keep the system strong, secure, and we'll get into that. So you can't stop Bitcoin. Amazing technology. So we'll talk news. There's a lot of news going on. For instance, throw one out there. BitcoinMagazine.com is reporting that Japan's largest power supplier, TIPCO, they're going to take all their excess power and start mining Bitcoin with it, energy. And they'll have that Bitcoin, and then they could do something with it, either hold it or buy things and improve their grid. But thing is, with the Bitcoin or with energy, a lot of energy is lost at the source. The grid is harder to manage. Bitcoiners, mining machines will come under the grid, and they'll help regulate the grid. Meaning, when a lot of power is not being used by the public, they could spin up those miners and take that power that was going to be wasted, lost power. And then the grid, there's a lot of demand on the grid. The Bitcoin miners could spin down and let the grid take the power as it needs. And that's already happening in the United States. Texas is embracing it, but Japan's doing it. And then you're going to have oil companies, they're getting into Bitcoin mining. So there's a lot of news behind the scenes that many of you might not be aware of. So we'll hit the news. Then we're going to hit FUD. FUD is fear, uncertainty, doubt. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. It's imposed on us by the media, and it's easy for them to do with all the shenanigans going on, like Sam Bankman-Fried or collapse of other tokens this year. So we'll cut through the FUD, understand what's going on, and not be fearful. That's what the news is. They're fearful and they don't understand what and how Bitcoin works. So we'll cut through the FUD and we'll cure you of FUD. It's no big deal. So we're not going to worry about FUD. We'll talk about it and see what else is going on. And a way to counter FUD is with Bitcoin facts. And so we want to talk facts on this channel. We'll introduce facts about Bitcoin to understand, but we'll slowly do it so we're not bombarded with too much information. We'll just talk about it every day or every video so we get comfortable and understand what Bitcoin is. So one quick Bitcoin fact is Bitcoin, there'll never ever be more than just under 21 million Bitcoin. It's in the code, in the protocol. It's the way it is. You can't change it. You can't counterfeit Bitcoin. Bitcoin fact. Right now, there's about 19.2 million Bitcoin out there that's been released onto the network, mined by nodes. Everybody wants to mine those Bitcoins and get those rewards. But 19.2, there's about 1.8 million roughly Bitcoin left to be mined. That's going to take the next 100 years. You know, the first 90% of Bitcoin was mined in the first almost 14 years there. The next 10%, it gets harder and harder. There's less Bitcoins being released on the protocol. Every 4 years, that gets cut in half. It'll be coming up next year. We'll get into that some more too. But it's amazing how Bitcoin works. It's scarce. And that's a fact. There'll never, ever be more than 21 now. So there you go. We introduce facts. So we'll keep the channel simple as that. Let me talk a little bit about myself real quick so you kind of know who I am. I'm not a Bitcoin millionaire. I'm not a crypto millionaire. My buddy David got me onto the space a couple of years ago. I started buying Bitcoin about 2 years ago. It was all new to me. It was during the pandemic. Bitcoin already crashed during the pandemic, so it was very hard for me to step up to the plate and buy some when it was, previously it was in the 3,000s, and when I started buying it, it was in the 9,000s. So, and I just bought a little bit. I made my mistakes along the way. I'm going to share those mistakes with you so you don't make them. Other people say they're stupid mistakes. Well, it is what it is. I was learning the whole Bitcoin world and crypto world, and it was moving so fast. I'm not trying to make excuse. It was fast and exciting. It went, you know, when I started getting it at 9,600 all the way up to 69,000. Dollar cost all the way up. The most I paid was around 62,000 for a fraction of a Bitcoin. You don't have to buy a full Bitcoin. You buy them in Satoshis, units of Bitcoin, and we just collect those. They call it stacking sats, stacking Satoshis. We'll stack them. The more Satoshis, you get 100 million Satoshis. That's a Bitcoin. So our goal is to stack sats and collect our Satoshis and create a Bitcoin. So I've been dollar cost averaging the whole way. But it was moving so fast at one time, I sold some Bitcoin. Big mistake. First of all, tax consequence. You do have to pay your taxes. Unlike what Senator Elizabeth Warren would say, Bitcoin's for the dark world. It's for drug dealers. No, it's none of that because it's on a ledger, a public ledger. You track the Bitcoins. It's amazing. That's a lot to unwrap right there. And we'll get into crypto analytics and tracking wallets, and I don't want to get sidetracked. So anyways, people like Senator Elizabeth Warren, people on the banking committees and in government, they spread FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. They don't really understand what Bitcoin is. So I pay my taxes on Bitcoin. You have to, because they'll track you down. Part of that mistake is I bought some altcoins. Got some Luna, got some Ethereum, and Cosmos or Luna. That was a real winner. We'll talk about that. Luna collapsed. Lost my money on Luna. And that was probably the downturn of the whole crypto world this year with the collapse of Luna. That was a mistake, buying Luna. So I lost money there. Another mistake I made, I practiced unsafe Bitcoin. I had money on Voyager. Voyager was an exchange, a lending platform. They would pay me yield as long as I keep a little Bitcoin there. So I had a little bit there. They're in bankruptcy right now. So I have to pay the consequences of practicing unsafe Bitcoin. So there you go. I'm not going to hold my breath on recovery of those assets at Voyager. We'll see if I get anything back. Cross my fingers. We'll see. I knew the risks when I kept it on there. And for now on, going forward, all we do is practice safe Bitcoin. No more leaving on exchanges. We self-custody and we're self-sovereign. That's another beauty of Bitcoin. You're self-sovereign. So those are some mistakes I made. Keeping money on exchange, and we could see what's happening right now with FTX, exchange collapse. And then there's other exchanges collapsing. Celsius collapsed this year. So those are centralized exchanges handling our decentralized Bitcoin. Once you put it on the exchange, you no longer have the keys, the controls. We'll get into that in deeper and talk about it more. But those are some of the things I've done on my journey, and I don't want you to make them, and I'm going to be completely open with you. So I keep dollar cost averaging. I'm still buying at these levels at 17,000. My average is probably around 30,000. So technically I'm upside down. Well, I don't like being upside down. Who does, right? Psychologically, it doesn't feel good. But in the whole big picture with Bitcoin, I believe in the technology. I have the highest conviction in Bitcoin, so I believe it's going places. So that's kind of my story. Okay, I have a website, poweredbybitcoin.org. You can go there. It's a news aggregator website. You could get it's linked to bitcoinmagazine.com and other links. Find lots of information on Bitcoin. Good place to start researching Bitcoin. On my website, I have some NFTs on there too. Don't go to NFTs. That was part of my journey as well. Don't buy NFTs, but it's on my website as part of my digital footprint. I'll probably be changing it in the future, but I went down the NFT route. We'll unpackage that in future videos. Again, everything was moving so fast, exciting, and we'll see. We'll talk about NFTs, but don't be buying NFTs. I'm not a financial advisor as well. We got to get that out there. I just love Bitcoin. I look at all the altcoins. I've learned my lesson. I technically still have some altcoins that are locked in. They're staked and I can't release them, and we'll unpackage that too. But again, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, show you what I'm doing, my mistakes, and my beliefs in Bitcoin. I'm not rattled by this craziness out there, but again, it brings a bad light over Bitcoin because of what's going on in the crypto world. And again, Bitcoin's different from all that. So if you like the video, please hit the subscribe and like. Check out the website, and I'll be getting more information out forward for us. And we're going to just unpackage it. Simple. Keep it simple on the channel. And that's it. So thank you for watching and tuning in. And until next time, thanks.